I'm not for sure if you guys can hear me. Let me know that you can hear me, because this is new for me. Can you hear me? I don't want that. Okay, the topic is the memorial for my son that was unalived. Well, we have to use that word, but with my age, I don't like to use any counterfeit words, because unalived to me is just like something in a cartoon. But yeah, he was unalived in 2023. Can somebody type there and say that you do hear me, because I want to make for sure. Okay, can you hear me? Okay. I'm not for sure if you if I'm being heard. That's all. Can somebody let me know that you can hear me. Okay. Okay, can you hear me? Because I'm not for sure if you guys are hearing me. Just say yes. Just type yes. Okay, thank you. I didn't know. Thank you. Thank you so much. The topic on here is in memory of my son, Glenn, that, like I said, was unalived. I don't like using that word because it's like a cartoon word, but it was in 2023. It's a little story to this. My son's headstone was paid for over a year and a half ago. And so it's just now, about 3 weeks ago, being placed at the gravesite. I was to have this past Thursday. I had live white doves. I had over 100 monarch live butterflies that I ordered, and I had to get them from Florida. And so there were different ways that you could receive them. And so I had on the outside of the envelope, "I love you, Glenn, Mommy." And in each one of the envelopes was a butterfly. Now, how they do that, I don't know. So this past Thursday at the memorial, you know, they were released along with the live white doves, and I had like 8 or 10 or so balloons, and all the colors was in remembrance of my son's casket that I bought him. Unfortunately, as today is Sunday, I don't have that video. Unfortunately, my phone overheated as I was trying to do this here for TikTok. My phone overheated, and we were in the sun. Okay, well, I didn't know. But there were two other individuals there. The one lady that took me, which I'm from Georgia, but as of right now, I'm in St. Louis, Missouri. So I will be here until they catch these jokers that did not ask me permission to take my baby. So the lady that took me to another town over in Illinois, well, she was able to record on her phone, you know, where my phone messed up. And then I had a former sister-in-law that attended the memorial, and her daughter, bless her heart, her name is Jamie, and I always said she was an angel. And so I want you guys to know something. For one thing, I am 100%, I'm a chosen one. And it just seems to be everything that I'm doing, and I know my son's in heaven, but God is continually having me on assignments. And when I'm saying assignments, it's people that want to continue to come around me, and they sleep. and they are asleep. See, this is not a time for me to be asleep. Because, as I just said, because I don't want to get off guard, I want to kind of stay in order. The lady that resides here in St. Louis, Missouri, bless her heart, I went and took care of getting all the balloons and everything, because as of right now, I'm not driving. Basically, my car is in Georgia, brand new car. But I depended on her to take me to get the birds. Now, I went and got the balloons, and I did all that. I got the butterflies, paid the money, because the shipping has went up, as you know, because of Trump with the tariffs. So it really, to me, wasn't about money, because this is a very spiritual ordeal, and it has tried to break me mentally and emotionally, but I just wasn't going to let it happen. So the lady that took me, I paid her dearly for taking up time to do this for me, because this is something special. If you don't have a child that was unalived, as they want to say, I want to say killed, because that's what happened. You know, you're just not going to understand that. And if you don't have the compassion and you're not a chosen one, some of this stuff that I'm saying is not going to resonate with you. Hi. It's just not going to resonate with you. But the reason why I'm getting on here today, Sunday, is because, you know what? I'm really pissed off. I'm truly aggravated. Frustrated. But everything that I'm doing is in the blood of Jesus. And God has his hands on me. Because there's nothing, no way, fashion, or form, that I've done anything wrong. You know? I did what I was supposed to do as a mother. Now, my girlfriend, and see, I'll say this to her because she needs to hear it. My girlfriend, when we got out the car to the cemetery, the first thing she said, well, you want to release the balloons? And I'm like, well, no. I have to set everything up. Right there, I started getting panic attacks, anxiety. Because, see, I have my way of doing things like anybody else, and I have always respected people and their ways. I'm not trying to deter anybody, oh, well, you need to do it this way, that way. But I remain silent. And so what I did, I gave her a little note that I had. See, I had everything wrote down of what I was going to say, the music I was going to play, the time I was going to release the doves and the butterflies and the balloons. But why would she say that to me, knowing what I done went through? When we get out of the car, okay, well, you want to release the balloons? I'm like, my God, you just get out the car and you just start releasing balloons? This is my son's memorial to myself. And she knows that. I'm just going to start releasing balloons. So I handed her my paper that I had previously wrote down, because I know me. I didn't want to do anything out of order, and I didn't want to forget anything. And I handed her the paper where she didn't take it. So That's when I said, well, you know what? I'm going to hurry up. Which I paid her good money, gas, and for her time. So I'm already panicking. I'm like, oh my God, here comes this past life again on me, God. But I had already prayed. To me, it was disrespect. I know most people have, and I'm sure there's some, I'm sure there's some. But you know what? I have my own way, even when I was very young, because I am an artist. I have my own way of doing things. Now, was I just supposed to get out the car, start releasing these balloons, and I got live doves in a basket? How disrespectful. So I told her I had to set everything up. I had a crystal dish with a handle on it, and it was decorated with flowers, and that's where I put the butterfly envelopes in there. For some way they all stayed alive. And I'm sitting back sweating like I just been in the shower because the sun was very, very hot. But I'm sitting back, and then my former sister-in-law and her daughter, they pulled up, which in that town, I really dreaded to go, but that's where I buried my son, and I don't live there anymore. But there's a lot of narcissist people, demonic spirits, and like I said, if you're not a chosen one, some of the things that I'm saying will not resonate with you. But I hope it can educate you, because this is life. This is not any games. And people want to continue to always keep somebody like me, chosen ones, they want to keep you in the dark. As far as I'm concerned, I clap my hands and I say, wake up. And I mean, wake the fuck up. Don't keep coming around me and throwing me like a frozen snake. And don't have the understanding that I know what's happening. So, my mother's still alive, and she's a queen narcissist. So the thing was, I had already let my mother know about 3 days before this memorial. And mind you, no one in my whole entire family offered me one crying nickel, nor did I ask when my son was so-called unalive, killed. But God was able to give me the provisions to bury him in a casket and have a funeral. So my little niece that was there at the memorial Thursday, I texted her and I said, well, Auntie Sandy might be 15 minutes behind, because I didn't know how long it was going to take for my girlfriend, because they wanted to stop and get something to eat. And, she had to make some phone calls because she's a business person, and she's, making her schedule on her time to deal with her clients and giving them times when she's going to be there, And actually, I'm really thinking that this day is going to be, for me, for all the stuff I've been through after the death of my son. So I called my little niece and I said, I may be 15 minutes behind. Something told me not to call my mother. Because, see, she is a king narcissist. Queen, king, whatever. And she has tried to destroy things all my life, even before I was born. That's another story. So something told me, don't call her. Don't call my mother. And I said to myself, well, okay, because I was still on the highway. And the good thing that I didn't, because she didn't show her ass up. See, God had provisions for me Thursday, and he already knew how everything was going to turn out when I've been on assignment all the way through this journey. And guess what? Nobody really gives a rat's ass of what in the heck I'm saying, what I have gone through, and people put a deaf ear. Demons and demonic spirits, they put a deaf ear. And guess what? I don't say a deaf ear. It's two deaf ears, because they don't want to hear the truth. And when I come around, I snatch off the veils. It's up to you to understand what a person is saying, because if a person is here for a purpose, pay attention to what they're saying, because it's a part of your life. You know, it's truly a message, educational part of your life. So, however, I didn't call my mom to tell her I was going to be late. God said, no, don't call her, so I didn't. Guess what? She didn't show up anyway. Good. Because I was ready to go through something right then. So it was good, because see, had my mother came, she was going to do something to blow my emotions, as she always did. That's why I don't deal with her. And she's about 89 years old. They say she has dementia. But, guess what? If you have dementia and Alzheimer's, why do you continue to do the same thing you've been doing all your natural born life? It makes no sense to me. Make it understand. So God kept her away. So, in the process, my phone that I'm on now, it overheated. Because like I said, the sun was beaming down. It overheated. And my girlfriend that I paid the money to take me there, she was using it. And I was trying to do something on another phone to have my music, and while I'm setting things up, and oh well, my phone overheated. Well, she started to use her phone, and so she captured that. And I do have a special friend on this TikTok, and she was able to capture the little bit that I did on my phone. Bless her heart. I'll call her my little angel on TikTok. And so, but actually what happened, some of that stuff came out choppy. and she showed me how to download it, and I did that. And so I just got that there, and it's not really good, but you can see. And then my sister-in-law, last night, I was able to see the parts that she had where I was releasing the doves. Okay. Now, my girlfriend that I paid the money to, I had called her, I guess today's Sunday, so I called her Saturday early. Well, she called me back, and she told me how she was going to be able to split up the video and split it up because it was long, and then send it to my email. And she said she was going to do that right now. I said, oh, okay. And I said, well, I'll just wait, and then I'll, let you know that I got it. Okay. Well, guess what? I'm waiting for this video because, see, I have something to do on TikTok. I wanted my message to get out and share my experience with the viewers, you guys that are here. And not only that, all them demons in my family. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because see, I don't have anything to hide or be ashamed of, and guess what? They know it. But see, I had a reason for doing all this. Well, anyway, I waited on my girlfriend. This was Saturday. Okay, didn't hear nothing. Well, I guess it's in the morning, so I waited till, maybe 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I texted her. I said, well, is everything going okay? I didn't hear anything from her. Then, I guess about 2 or 3 hours after the fact of yesterday, because I had called, and then she sends me a text message and said, sorry, I wasn't able to take your call. I'm in Nebraska with my family. Isn't that a bitch? In Nebraska. With all due respect, and like I said, I'm not six-headed, two-faced, or anything like that. I'm going to let her know that I wasn't offended. It's just another process I got to deal with. Like people say, why me? Why me? Well, guess what? Why not me? Because, see, God knows I can handle this. So, she's in Nebraska, which is none of my business. But I'm sitting here in St. Louis waiting for that damn video so I can do my mission here on TikTok. So I'm like, okay. So I know I can say more. So I'm waiting on that video. Because at the time when my son was unalive, he came from North Carolina to visit me here. And he surprised me. Unfortunately, I was moving from a hell place I was at. Demons, drugs, and all that stuff. Well, he came, and he didn't know I was moving. Well, he helped me move. And in the meantime, he helped me put all my stuff in storage. And me and him was homeless for a minute. Yeah, I was homeless, sleeping in the bushes. Yeah. Sleeping in the bushes. And I said, you know what? It can't get no lower than this. But there's so much to this story. But as far as when I do post this on my page, my son's headstone, like I said, has been paid for over a year and a half. And I had it, the scriptures and everything that I wanted on there. And the business here in St. Louis, Missouri, that I got his headstone. Now remember, I'm homeless. I had to take out loans. They've been into business since 1891. Do you hear me? This business here in St. Louis, Missouri, been in business since 1891. So I picked out what my money could afford at the time. And mind you, I'm homeless, but I was making payments on that headstone. And then finally, I got a place, and as of right now, where I'm at, I've been here, it's been 2 years this August. Now, this is what I'm trying to say. Around July the 2nd, from this business here in St. Louis, Missouri, been in business since 1891 or 1898. It's something like that. I might be wrong, but it's been over 150 years. So you know what kind of mentality that is. So I get a phone call July the 2nd. But 5 days before that phone call, I'm in my apartment. I'm just doing some little pitting around, and I grow flowers. I love plants, so I got them all over my ceiling. And God said to me, out of the blue, God said, and he was talking about my son's headstone. He said, God said, make it work. I didn't understand what God was saying, because Glenn's headstone was already paid for. And so God said again, he said, whatever happens, he said, make it work. So I'm like, okay. Now, mind you, I'm thinking they already done did the engraving and got everything on there. These people ain't did nothing. And it's been paid for all this time. And so one of the workers, I guess, did the engraving. This was back last year. Some kind of way he cut his finger. I said, okay, that's fine. I said, I'll be patient. I said, because when God's timing comes, my son's headstone will be there. Oh, we just really appreciate you, Sandra, for just being so patient. I said, no, God has his own timing. God is the master of his own timing. Okay? Well, time kept on going on. So this was around the time that God told me, 3 days before they called me, that God said make it work. I didn't understand. So when they called me on the phone, and it wasn't even the person that I was affiliated with, she put me on to somebody else that I really didn't even know. And they told me, well, Miss Sandra, there's a defect with the headstone. I said, what? I said, all this time? I said, it's been paid for over a year and a half. And I said, you guys knew I was homeless at that time. Oh, well, we just didn't know how to tell you. I'm like, been in business since 1891? And I didn't get a fantastic headstone. I got what God had presented for me to get. So this is what these, wait a minute, something on me. This is what these demons did to me. So, they sent me a picture of the defect of the headstone. I looked at it. Well, I guess on the 6th of July, after the holidays, well, I went there to the business because I was already going there prior to it, dropping down that payment to their asses, you know. And I let them know a little bit about my life. I said, but whatever you do, I said, don't take my kindness for weakness. I said, because I am not, no way, fashion, or form, a damn fool. And they did understand that. So, I went there, and I looked at the headstone. I seen the defects, what they should have known all that stuff. Hey, I just picked my child's headstone out. So when they sent me the picture of the headstone, guess what? It wasn't no engraving. It wasn't nothing even put on there. So this is part of the reason why I'm pissed off today from just last Thursday. So, with the defect that was on there, and I thought they was trying to tell me it was cracked. Well, hell, I didn't crack it. I had over a whole year and a half to figure this mess out. So I told the guy, I said, I tell you what to do. I'm an artist. I said, just put some little grass down at the bottom where that little defect is. And so he took his papers, and he just threw them down. A Caucasian. He took his papers and threw it down. Well, we just have to start it all over again. And I'm like, woo, boy, to myself, he's really starting to show his true color. See, God sent me there on an assignment, and now I was understanding they had been doing this mess to not just me. It's been other people. I went on the Better Business Bureau. Oh, yeah. So this is the clincher of it. So then they started coming up with all these scenarios on me. Now, mind you, I've got every one of them unorganized receipts, all taped up together for my proof. I picked out my son a vase and paid for it to go on his headstone. So they tell me, now this is all like in July, just last July, this July. Well, the vase you picked out, we're not going to be able to mount it on there. Now, I'm already pissed off at these Caucasians. And I said, but guess what? You guys knew all this stuff over a year ago. You know, I said I wasn't supposed to come in there with a tape measure and measure up the size of this and that. And now y'all throwing this at me all at one time. So they picked out another vase, and I told them, I said, now you can size up another vase or whatever you need to do. I said, but I'm not going to pay any more money. I got all my text messages. So this is what they did. They text messaged me and told me, I told them I couldn't afford the vase and I didn't have the money, so I never paid for it. Oh, Jesus. Huh? I mean, is this real? So, and they're texting me. They're not calling me on the phone. See, these demonic spirits, you know, now I know I was on an assignment at this 1891 headstone place. They've been screwing over people for many, many years and probably doing much, much more. So, I texted them back and I said, you motherfuckers, you better be giving me a call. Well, of course, they didn't do it. So I told them, I said, under no circumstances do you take that headstone to the cemetery without my permission until I see that vase on there. Well, guess what? Those jokers took it out there about three weeks ago without that vase. So, you know, this is life. So to say this, to say that the lady here that took me to Illinois with all my balloons, I did everything on my own. I didn't have her take me nowhere. Only thing she had to do is take me to pick up them live birds. And she still could not give me the video. I'm still waiting. Not to mention, I got to go after this business on a legal issue to get my money because I paid for that. I paid for it. Yes, I paid for it, and like they say, why me? Well, guess what? I'm saying, why not me? God knows I'm strong enough. And my girlfriend should have handled business to get that email or cut it up or whatever, how you do them, because you know what, I don't know. But in Matthews, you know, God says he gives all of us tools to work with. Now, there's some people like billionaires and all this kind of mess, you know. They think money is everything. Like I said, I was homeless living in the bushes. Didn't know how I was going to bury my son. And then after the fact, the close family members telling me, well, you know, I offered you money. Oh, no, you hell not did not. You didn't offer me one crying nickel, and nor did I ask. And I had all of that stuff in my phone. All of them, those stupid little text messages back when my son was unalive, killed. Excuse me, TikTok, but it's just hard for me to pretend with words. But my phone got hacked May the 2nd. So I had to get it swiped at the company. And so I lost all that stuff. But no, nobody offered me, and nor did I ask. But everybody saying what they wanted, what they did. I have a right. And you know what? Thank goodness for this internet, because this is something I've never thought I would do. But it's helping me instead of holding all this stuff in the inside, because, you know, I used to drink. I ain't saying I was a drinker, but I used to drink. And, you know, doctors even gave you a diagnosis. Oh, you're medicating yourself. I'm like, okay, whatever you say, you know. Now, I stopped drinking one time for 10 years straight. And little bit time, you know, when I got homeless, you know, I went back to it. But I thank God my son was able, I could see him one more time. But I'm going to tell you something. Coming up in October of this year, I ain't had not one drink, and it'll be 4 years. And believe me, oh yeah, I done thought about it. You always think about it. But what I'm going through, God already brought me through. He already knows. But there's much more to this story. But I'm just pissed off now. Because if it was me, I don't care if I knew you or not, and I knew something was that important to you, I'd have been there. And I am 67 years old. And that's why I say, why not me? Keep on doing it. Because, see, when my son was unalive / you know, because I don't want them to mess this video up, but I just don't like saying that, unalive. It's just not in my character, because it's not real. And I am not getting ready to get indoctrinated on this bullshit. You know, and all this and that. And, you know, I know when I was in school, teaspoon, tablespoon, I knew them abbreviations. I'm not trying to get conditioned in all this stuff, because you know what? It's like trying to take me back. Because when I was in school, you couldn't say ain't. Now, for the past 30 years, they've been letting them say it on the news. Now they're trying to condition us to say other stuff. So I'm going to say that, because guess what? It's your money, the billionaires. You know, so. But I'm going to, you know, like I said, I got to repost all this stuff. And I do appreciate you guys. And if you want to, you can go on my page. And I am an artist, and I make specially crafted wishing wells in memory of my son. And none of them are the same, and they are spectacular. They have a water fountain and lights, and it's just totally, you know, unique. But I just had to get this out, because I'm sick and tired of especially the people that's around. Now, I stay now in the senior citizen building here in St. Louis. And once they find the person that took my baby, I'm going to court, and I want to see these people because they have no idea he was a chosen one and still is a chosen one. And they didn't ask my permission to take him. But I want to see him in court. And the detectives, they have told me they got some good leads. They got some DNA. I don't call them much because I don't want to push the system. Because, you know, I don't want to do nothing wrong. And because I let them know my son's very special. And all the mothers out there, you know how I feel. And I ask everyone that's on here, you know, to repost this for me, because I don't know how. I'm going to try to, but I need this message to get to them demons. I need it, because you know what? They, like I was getting ready to say, see, after my son was unalive, them close ones back in them other state, they thought that I was going to drink myself to death. But I had already stopped drinking, for as they already knew. So no, they didn't succeed on that because I'm a chosen one. So I gotta just keep staying strong. And I wish I had the paper with me like I was gonna do Thursday. And like I said, the panic attacks, because I'm like, oh my God, she's not really respecting me the way that I would. But on the back of my son's headstone, I have on the back of there Ecclesiastes, I think it's chapter 3, verse 11. And it's, God makes everything beautiful in its own time. And I have other stuff wrote on there. And also I have on there, I got Glenn, you remember the last kiss mommy gave you? And I said, my tears, today I still cry. But these are tears of anointings for you and I. And so this is part of the story. You know, our stories never end, because if you pay attention to what people are saying, you can make sense of it. Like people say, make it make sense to me. Well, guess what? It can be made sense to you if you're a Christian, and even if you're not a Christian. If you have a willing spirit, God will touch you. Because all what we're going through, guess what? You think we're not in that Bible? Oh yeah. Our testimony is in the Bible. It might not be the same person, but we all are children of God. And if we can share our experiences with each other on this earth with love, compassion, acceptance, and love, and love, and love, we have strength. Because if you know one thing like I do, there's more people that want to take me out. And if I commit to those emotions and start not taking care of me, then that's what the demonic spirit wants you to do. We get builded. See, what I'm doing now, just all y'all on here is helping me. Even though we don't know each other, but it's building me up. It's making me continue on this journey, on this assignment, because what these people are doing wasn't right. So we have to build each other up. And what we don't understand, guess what? It ain't no law that says, let me ask this person so I can understand it. And then I might can understand about myself. Because it is a lonely world. And we all are humans and we all want love. And like I said, I'm here in St. Louis, Missouri. I came from Georgia. But guess what? I don't have no family, no friends. And I tell these people, because they done came to try to get into my world, but I stay to myself in my apartment. I don't want to deal with that because I have the discernment and I see it. I have no family, no friends here, but I tell them in a minute, I bet you I'll get 5,001 enemies before I get one friend. So I ain't looking for a friend. When a friend comes, God will put it. He'll put it there, and He has put people there. And guess what? It was an assignment, and it's not always about you. It's not always about me. You have people that's coming into your life. God made it happen because it's something that God needed them to see. And He used us in order to get it done. So sometimes when you say, oh, I don't know, why me? Just say, why not? Bring it on, Cletus. Yeah, that's what I have to say, So, I don't know. Now, if somebody can tell me what to do on keeping this, how can I save this? Can somebody text down there to show me how? Let me see. Boost your live tips for success. Popular. Okay. Well, I think the one lady told me that you can, I can download this some kind of way, and so hopefully that I'm going to be able to. But if somebody can just maybe do it and then just send it to my profile. And I do have another profile. Like I said, my phone got hacked, and it's another profile, and it has a picture of me, and it's got purple butterflies, and it's still the same name. So I thank you guys all for being here with me, and I'm going over looking at some of these names, and God knows I truly hope that I said something to stick with you, because I'm not done yet, and I'm just waiting on the videos, and then I'll post some of the things on there, and then you guys will get a chance to see us releasing the live butterflies and then the doves. Actually, what I did, instead of letting them up, I only got two. Actually, two. I got one for me and one was for my son. But I'm gonna tell you something. I love birds, the color and all that, but I just don't never like to touch them. I never picked them up. But for some strange reason, on this patio where I stay at, one bird fell down right in front of me out of the sky, and it was dead. And so I picked it, took a cup, and I scooped it up, put it in a bag, and I put it in a dumpster. Then there was another beautiful red and black bird. I don't know, why that was happening. And I put him in a bag and put him in the dumpster. And God says, all of his creatures, even the human creatures, he does not want us to lie down on the ground to let animals and insects and everything just eat our eyes and all that. That is prohibited by God. He wants us to be buried. So when there was birds just back in July, I guess God was telling me that I did the right thing, because when they found my son, he was decomposing. And he let me bury him. So those birds was a message just last month. So I just put everything together, and I feel much better, because I had to get this off. Now, I don't know when my girlfriend coming in from Nebraska, Oh my goodness. Now here's a whole bunch of birds right here now. Isn't that something? Well, I don't know. I guess she'll be back here by the weekday because she's got her business, so, And when she texts me that she was in Nebraska with her family, why she couldn't take her, I didn't even respond back because, come on. Because apparently what I had to do Thursday was not important, So I'm just dragging on like a ball and chain. Yeah. But anyway, God bless everybody, and thank you for being with me today, and I do feel better, and I'm happy that I was able to get a video, at least of me with the birds and the butterflies, and some of the things I was talking about on that other video as I'm speaking now. But some of this here just done happened, I'm still in the meantime waiting on her to give me the video, Okay, well, I'm gonna go, you guys, and thank you again, and everybody have a blessed day, and please repost this wherever way y'all know how to do it, and I'm gonna try to save it. Like I said, I don't know much about this, but we all learn to live to learn. Bye-bye. Well, I'm trying to even see how to do it. I don't know. Okay. Okay.